My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC fight picks and DraftKings lineups run by MMA insiders and professional fighters. Every week, I join Dan Kramer and Nick Newell, two longtime professional fighters that have fought at the highest levels on the planet, as well as Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. So join us every single week for our full fight card breakdowns, our individual fight card breakdowns, our betting guide, and our DraftKings lineups. Next up at UFC Vegas 25, we have Merab Dvalishvili versus Cody Stamann in an absolute killer matchup. I'm looking very forward to this fight. This is going to be a ton of fun, and I think Merab is going to be my ticket to another winning week in DraftKings. He is in my lineup. He will score 1 million points if DraftKings allows him to. Dan, what are your thoughts and how do you see this going?
Yeah, this is an interesting fight. I think there is a ton of value on Cody Stamann. Watching tape on him, he's won 12 out of his last 15 fights. His only losses were to Aljamain Sterling and Jimmy Rivera, which was his last fight. He's a very, very good wrestler and striker, more so in wrestling. I think they both have very similar styles and game plans in their fights. I think he lost his last fight to Rivera because the wrestling edge wasn't there. Wrestling might have been neutral in that fight, but Rivera was just the overall better striker. So I think in this fight, Dvalishvili, who's on a 5-fight win streak, all decisions, great wrestling, tons of takedowns. He can hang striking, but I think Stamann is a little bit more athletic, a little bit more powerful, and just a little bit better of a striker. So let's call the wrestling a wash, which I could be wrong on that. We'll find out. But I think the striking, Stamann has an edge. So I think it's going to be a tough fight. There's going to be a bunch of scrambles early on, both guys trying to impose their real wrestling. And I think in the breakaways and the exchanges, whoever wins those striking battles, I think will win the fight. I don't think one is going to dominate the wrestling over the other. And I think in those striking exchanges, I think Stamann will get the better of him. A lot of people are very high on Dvalishvili, but I think he's still improving as a striker. He may come out and show that this fight, but I just think there's a lot of value on Stamann. At $7,200, I think I'm going to work him into my lineup. If I have two underdogs, it'll probably be him and Hughes at this point. So, I hope he doesn't get dominated in wrestling. I don't think he will. That would be the only killer to a DraftKings lineup. So I think it's going to be a close fight. And I think I'm going to pick Stamann to win this fight. I think he's game. I think I could be way off on this one, but I just think the wrestling is fairly neutral. And I think the striking is where he's going to have an edge.
So I agree. I think he has the striking edge. I completely disagree with the wrestling. I think Dvalishvili is just going to dominate the wrestling.
Come on, Dan. Come on, Dan.
Right.
We're talking about an Arkansas wrestler versus like Pennsylvania wrestler. That's the gap that I see here. I think Dvalishvili just
Cody's not from Arkansas, man. If he was from Arkansas, it would be different.
I think Merab just mauls him in the wrestling. He's relentless, moves forward, 1 million takedowns in every single fight, and it's borderline effortless, and he times his striking with his takedowns really well. I agree, Stamann's the better striker, the more technical striker, but Merab is the better striker as far as setting up his wrestling is concerned. It's almost, you don't even see the strike to the takedown transition where, Cody strikes, Cody wrestles. The transitions are a little rough. But I think they're leagues apart in the wrestling, as crazy as that sounds. So I think Merab mauls him. This line, the Monkey Knife Fight line is fantastic. Meaning I think it's pretty accurate. I think the odds are pretty accurate. I think the DraftKings price is pretty accurate. And I have Merab in my lineup. So Jacob, you were nodding along. You probably feel the same way.
Hold on real quick. So you think, just curious, because I'm obviously probably way up. Well, we'll see. But
I mean, you may not be off.
No. The wrestling, pure wrestling, right? In a wrestling room, on a wrestling mat, Dvalishvili is the one who's going to win that fight,
Absolutely.
right? But in MMA wrestling, you think he's? I mean, you kind
This
of.
is. I'll give it to you.
That was the
like
point.
this.
Hold it.
I'll give it to you like this.
To meet the adults.
Yeah, I was
talking.
asking Angelo because, and he did kind of say it.
Adults are talking.
But I just want to say, you think his MMA skills are?
I can tell you right now. I can give you a prime example.
Dude, the adults are talking.
I can give you a prime example.
Okay, here we go. I'm muting you. You've been muted.
Oh wow, he did mute him. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time he actually did that.
So
I don't know how I feel about that. I think you should let him keep.
I mean, you were talking directly to me.
All right. Well, go ahead. It's unfair, Jacob. I don't agree with this.
He's just moving his mouth. He's not even talking. So anyway, I think I told you before. I think that wrestling for wrestling, straight up, I think Merab's the better wrestler. He just is. But then the MMA wrestling, to your point, is a whole different world. It's a completely different thing. And I actually think Merab is the better MMA wrestler because his transition from striking to wrestling is so smooth. And this comparison is ridiculous, but it's almost like a GSP where it's just you're looking at the strike come, and as that strike's coming, his level is already lowered and he's already on his way in. And I think he's just so smooth going from A to B.
Yeah, he did look really. I mean, it's tough to say he looked great against Dodson, but he, against a very, very tough guy to take down. I don't even know if he got an official takedown on that because Dodson got up so quickly, but
yeah, I mean, that dude,
he picked him up and walked him across the cage multiple times, and that doesn't happen to Dodson. So yeah, you could be right about that. I don't know. I feel like Stamann's got kind of.
Stamann's a better striker for sure. So it will be, if Stamann really utilizes his jab and touches up Merab, it may force Merab to take bad shots. And then if he takes bad shots, Cody's the much better wrestler in those situations. So I think Merab is just, he knows what he's going to do and he's just going to do it. So Jacob, I'll unmute you and you can now just barge in with whatever you were going to say.
I had to click to be unmuted. Anyway, this is all you need to know. I love Ricky Simone. I think Ricky Simone is one of the best wrestlers in this division, top to bottom. Merab took Ricky Simone down 6 times, ragdolled him across the ring. Ricky Simone ended up catching him in a submission and won the fight, but he was getting ragdolled around this ring. So, and I think Ricky Simone would out wrestle Cody. So that tells you everything you need to know about Merab. I agree that Cody is a better striker. That's what worries me about Merab. That's why I kept him out of my lineup. He was in my lineup originally, but I was worried about Cody being able to stuff a couple takedowns and then find that striking exchange to win the fight. And Cody, he's 19-3. He has a lot of experience. He was also 19-1 as an amateur. Why he had that many amateur fights, I have no idea, but he's got worlds of experience. I can see him stuffing a couple takedowns and catching a striking exchange and winning the fight, but I think Merab just gets us to the ground and mauls him, like you guys are saying. Another thing that we're missing too with Merab is he missed a couple fights because of COVID and then missed a fight again because he had COVID issues. So he missed it because he tested positive. Then he missed it for COVID issues. So this thing, I think, is his first fight back. So you don't know, maybe he had some issues with training.Maybe there's some gas tank issues. You never really know with COVID these days. So I have Merab winning this fight, but I kept him out of my lineup just very slightly because Cody is a phenomenal athlete.
By the way, Angelo should not have muted you. That was a very, very good point. And it has me rethinking my pick. The fact that he beat what's his name like that and ragdolled him. That's a tough thing to do. So, you know what, Angelo? I think you should stop abusing your authority and let Jacob speak, because that was probably
I can't wait. The people are not going to like that.
That was the best point I thought of the argument that Merab is going to dominate this fight. That's a very, very good point.
People are not going to like that.
I may switch I think I'm going to take Stamann out of my lineup based on that really good information and reminder from Jacob.
All right, well, I've muted Jacob again. Anyway, I muted him the first time because he was interrupting, and the second time is just for good measure. So this will be a fun fight. I'm definitely looking forward to it, and it will be interesting to see who wins these wrestling exchanges. If you want to play the Monkey Knife Fight line, make sure you hit up the link at the bottom, playmkf.com/wewantpicks, and use promo code WWP for an instant match up to $100, no strings attached. We just want to give a giant thank you to all of our members and to everybody who donated this week, specifically Jesse Correa, Dunchichi, Chris Jory, David Raymond, Chris Toronto, Ansi Music, and Jill Gretka. Thank you all very, very much. If anybody is interested in becoming a member, there is a join button down below. You'll get a fancy little crown in the comment section. If you're interested in sharing the wealth from all of our fantastic picks, there's a donation link in the description below. Thank you all very, very much for the support. It is much appreciated, and everything goes right back in this channel to give you the best possible production and best picks on the planet.
Definitely appreciate all you guys watching. Love interacting with you guys in the comments. So keep writing comments. We'll keep going back and forth. Jacob and I will keep arguing, or Jacob and Angelo will keep arguing. But really appreciate you guys tuning in and watching.
Get your crowns.
Before you go, check out the description below. In there, we have links to our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, and more importantly, to our DraftKings League. Check out the league, join the league, participate in the contests, and as we get going and as you start winning, we're going to start handing out gift cards and participating and doing things like that. So check those out. Every week, there are drops on every fight card. So make sure you check out this channel and our social media on Saturday before the fights start so that you have our most updated lineups and picks.